So, I actually had a blast recording that last scrolling Reddit video. It was pretty relaxing. I got a good little laugh out of it, and I got to talk a little bit about Cyberpunk in a random capacity. So, we're going to do another one of those. And the great thing about Reddit is the pages, the subreddits, refresh so frequently that you get new content. We're going to go ahead and start with another one of those, and we're going to go through and scroll through the Cyberpunk Red subreddit first, see about some stuff that we can discuss, and then we're going to go ahead and look at some memes, just like last time. So, here we go. I've really got to work on my improv openings too because they're just so bad. And I welcome you back to the Cyberpunk Red subreddit. Let's see what changed. Let's see what changed this time around and start scrolling. We'll go ahead and start with this one because I'm curious. Because my campaign kind of fell into this kind of loop as well. Hey Chooms, I am a GM running Cyberpunk Red, and I've got a problem I need your help with. It seems like every time I write a serious adventure, it always turns into the same kind of mystery thriller. The crew takes the job, and it turns out there's a massive secret conspiracy behind it all. I know this is a classic cyberpunk trope, and it works, but I'm feeling pretty burnt out on it. It's like it's the only type of story I can write on autopilot, and frankly, I'm getting sick of my own creative habits. I really want to try my hand at a different kinds of stories and plot structures. I'd love to hear any ideas or inspiration you all have to help me break out of this rut. Thank you. Top comment. I kind of like it. You can try to make simpler, clear-cut stories. One of your players realizes that their home has been ransacked, or they get pickpocketed on the street, and now they have to go get this person, searching around the city for this one guy, until they finally find him, confront him, and find that he's either poor and desperate or absolutely psychotic as to try and pickpocket the entire party. Or they get caught in the crossfire between a corp and a gang conflict that boils down to, we want this specific place for our interests, and the party gets to decide while fighting their way to safety whether or not they want to help one side or the other, or eradicate both, or conversely play both sides. Nuance can come from simplicity. By making a simple situation and saying, have at thee, you can have an unpredictable plot that will break you out of staleness. So, what you're suggesting is a style that starts with down to earth gigs and gets the PCs involved in the street level troubles that arise from them. I have a bad habit of worrying that my players won't have fun unless the scenario is extravagant or over the top. Your phrase, nuance can come from simplicity, is a great piece of wisdom that will be a real source of encouragement for me. Thank you. Alright, so this is Future Justin talking about the post which asks for help not falling into the same rut of potential of story. I'm doing this completely unscripted, by the way. I completely skipped over reading over a large amount of that Reddit post, and basically the response to the post that I had just read in the previous clip was something to the effect of having downtime in between like major story portions, and the first couple of sessions were nothing but downtime kind of gigs. They were real short, just single mission sessions that didn't really establish a story, and I might discuss that in a separate clip, but I'm kind of using this as a this clip here as a bridge clip between the two systems, or between the two conversation pieces, because I'm 99% sure I had accidentally clicked stop recording when I had discussed everything pertaining to that particular clip. I'm still getting used to how small the bleed and pause button is on OBS Studio, and I'm not exactly willing to go out and get a digital camera as of yet. I apologize for dim lit Justin. I'll try to keep that to a minimum. See, this right here, this particular set right here, I had started off the campaign just like this, and it was a situation where like every single campaign or every single session of the campaign was just a new gig up until we hit a certain point. I don't remember what gig that was, but I had sent everybody down a rabbit hole with Biotechnica, who was illegally creating clones. And then with the failed clones, Biotechnica had a contract with Continental Brands, and they were turning the failed human clones into kibble for the masses to eat. Yeah, very, very Soylent Green of me, but I've never actually seen that movie. And I had to actually look it up after introducing that plot point, because I didn't realize that I had, plagiarized a movie at that point in time. I had kind of come up with it on the fly. So we went ahead I went ahead and kept the plot point, but there wasn't much of a major resolution to that. Actually, it was more to play into the story of another character that we used that plot point. Now we're back to doing just regular gig work until the new arc of the story finally shows its face. The new arc is relatively Blade Runner. Here we go. I am a massive savings nerd. Here are the stupidest money mistakes I see people make. 1. Overpaying with car insurance. The average American saves a whopping $410 a year. I'm kidding. We're not. No. I'm not putting a goddamn car insurance commercial in here. Yeah, you know what? And this might help some of us out because, or some of you out, because some of you might be transitioning from from D&D 5e here to a Cyberpunk scenario. How should the roles interact? Let me be upfront and say that I haven't had the chance to play Cyberpunk Red yet, so my observation and question may just be completely wrong. I want to introduce this game to my group, and to do so, I will most likely need to be the GM. My experience comes from D&D 5e. My personal experience came from both 5e and 3.5, which I've played for about a decade now. Same here. I have DM'd a handful of games, so I'm no stranger to world building and handling players and running combat. I have many questions, but for this post I want to focus on the roles. Before we get into that, I found it way easier to world build in Cyberpunk Red just simply because of how close it is to, actual real life than I ever did in a fantasy setting. Like, it was way easier for me to go through and build a world in Cyberpunk than it ever was in D&D for me. So my question, how do and should the roles interact? Are fixers and execs supposed to be the bosses of the party? If a player plays a fixer or exec, should they be expected not to go on missions with the party? Because their role kind of insinuates that they are not the ones meant to be getting their hands dirty? How are media supposed to exist? Because unless the party is actively helping the media with a story, why would every other role besides the rocker boy want a media on their team? As the GM, how should I be handling the party relationships? As in D&D, certain people naturally become the party's leaders. While sure, some classes may be better than others when it comes to interacting with NPCs, but typically the leader of the party isn't specified until the party starts pushing a player to that role. Whereas in Cyberpunk Red, from my point of view, if a player is an exec or a fixer, then they are by necessity of their role the boss of the party. And while a solo or rocker boy may take charge on the ground, if they would still report to the exec or fixer. I know some of these questions are really up to me as the GM to answer, and some things can be solved by restricting classes or me just running the scenario given in the Meet the Team section of the core rulebook. I'm just hoping to get some insight from experienced players and GMs. I really like the fixer and exec rules, and I'd rather not restrict them from play. Every role is a combat role, and anyone can take leadership. Usually, an exec will bully their way into a group leader role, but the other players can choose to ignore them. A fixer gets the gigs, but sometimes from the exec and goes with for a larger cut. The exec is there oftentimes because their corporate reputation is on the line. Medias are great because they can adjust people's opinions of the group or their enemies, especially as their rep increases. Medias also get info through rumors, so if the fixer offers a job the party doesn't want to take, there's a second avenue for work. I'll also say that an exec is not necessarily a corpo, they could just be someone in charge of a group of people. Maybe a capo in the mafia, or the sergeant at arms in a gang, or something like that. Someone who can wrangle some lackeys together consistently. Medias don't just publish stories, although they will want to do that. They are also juiced into the rumors in the city in a way that other roles can't. A media can also release a well-timed expose on a corp target that garners enough bad press to make it distasteful for them to come after the team after a successful gig. Also, the whole Edge Runner thing is kind of a Rage Against the Machine sort of theme, and being able to take the bastards down a notch, even for a while, has a certain allure to it. How do I go about breaking this down? Well, for starters, we'll look at the obvious. Clearly, exec classes and the fixer class are not, hands-off roles. Clearly, they are also meant to be up in the fray, which is why in my explaining the exec class, this is Future Justin again. We're 0 for 2 right now. That video, the explaining the exec class video, has not released yet. And Justin at the point of recording was halfway to being exhausted from recording. In the next video that you see, where we get away from the Cyberpunk Reddit, you will see exhausted Justin on camera for the world to see. But I stepped in to let you know that video hasn't surfaced yet. It's fully recorded. I'm just on the way to editing it, but I wanted to get through all of the Reddit videos first. Thank you. I went ahead and kind of provided an example of what you could do with the business attire that you get from your corporation, or rather, in this case, gang as well, to kind of protect yourself on the battlefield. Secondarily, we see that, the executive is going to try to bully their way into a team lead kind of role. That's just based entirely off of the role playing. And medias are useful in setting up a diversionary situation. So when it comes down to planning, you can have an insider like the exec kind of drop some information to the group, or the media can kind of dig into a rumor that would help the group proceed, as well as writing their hit piece, and that hit piece could provide distraction. There is no actual group leader kind of situation. Anybody can be the group leader. It's just which player is most suited for that role personality wise, who's the best at, who ends up making the decisions most of the time. I don't think that's exactly how to put it. I don't think group leader is a class situation more so as it is a judge of the player's personality per se. This I decided to look at because I'm fucking old. Oh my god, please load faster. A fucking floppy disk gun. Do you know how great that is? What size floppies does it fucking shoot? They're fired using a pressure of 144 MPa. This is how you use quick hacks at a 2045 setting. Take the chipware bomb, tee up it to explode after it gets launched like the PQ chipware socket. Boom, mini grenade launcher. Use the cheap chipware socket that ejects chips when hit as the gun. When the techie tried the exec's designer drugs. Just imagine how confused those drugs must feel. Oh man, it's chambered in 3.5 millimeter. Oh, I love it. Moving on. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just add that comment. Was it 3.5 millimeter or 2.5? Well, I'll figure it out when I'm corrected. Alright, actually I lied. We do have a little bit of a backup. We read this one a little while ago. So it's back to the top and time to refresh. While that does... You know what? We'll go ahead and take a look at this one just because I'm curious. So I have this idea for a can people change... My god, it's late. Can people change out cyber limbs constantly? So I have this idea for a character that makes money in fighting pits at night, but hides that from their mother by swapping all their combat limbs for medical cyber prosthetics when they leave the pits. What are the rules about this? If memory serves, and I haven't played Cyberpunk Red in a while, there's an upgrade called Quick Change Sockets, which allows you to literally pop them in and out with an action. Otherwise, you need to know somebody with the surgery skill to replace them for you. Raw, they only exist for arms, but to speak to your GM about it. If it's that important to your character, I'm sure they don't mind tossing some cash to a local tech for the hookup. Easy answer. So it's either quick sockets or you go through the surgery and continually deal with surgery. Well, that was an easy answer. Not much for discussion there. What other cyberpunk stuff can I look at? Loading. I am so loading. So in the future, I should probably just do this on a week-to-week basis because I need to let the wiki or the Reddit pages refresh. I don't think we're gonna get much new on the Cyberpunk or low sodium Cyberpunk subreddit as of yet, but we'll try it anyway here in a minute. Actually, we're just gonna go ahead and try it now, and then we'll go from there. And here we go. Why does that make me think more? Why does this make me think more about Galarians than Cyberpunk? Like this reminds me of that old PS1 game Galarians. Was it Galarians? I think that's what that was called. We're gonna make real good friends with Google real quick. Yeah, it was Galarians. But like this guy clearly doesn't have to suffer from like headaches and nosebleeds and shit when using his powers. Wait for it. Just wanted to say I have a massive crush on you. Oh, who's the other guy? I added him for moral support. LMAO, are you serious? I'm here for you, man. Do your thing. Not quite. I don't think having Silverhand around for moral support is going to give you moral support. But you do you, boo boo. Oh. Yeah, the other thing is that you can get like a metric. Moving over to Cyberpunk 2077, the other thing is if you catch it at the right time, you get like awesome bugs like that. I've been watching a few of these, or I've been kind of watching these off and on as I do things. I love hearing this man talk. Like, I adore listening to this human being talk. I really don't feel like editing in some fucking blur, so let me just get past this real quick. So, in hindsight, I should probably have let Reddit refresh before trying this again. We'll try this again. I will try recording one of these again next week. I absolutely don't mind making something like this a weekly affair, or even bi-weekly, because it's not like it takes a ridiculous amount of time, nor does it sit and really interfere with anything else that I've got going on. I mean, how to put it, 9 times out of 10 I am sitting here browsing around on my computer or playing video games anyway, and if I can sit here and talk about something while I'm just scrolling mindlessly, why not? So, I'm sorry this was a shorter rendition of this video series. We'll try something. We will try again next week to have something a little longer. If you guys enjoyed, please let me know down in the comments below. I didn't find it as fun this time because there wasn't much in the way of new content. For now, once again, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like, leave a comment. It helps me out immensely. I'm going to get some gameplay footage and actually edit this executive class video. So, I love you all, and I will see you all later.